Hey YouTube, what's going on? Kevin coming back at you right where we left off. Had to take a break for a little bit and get crack-a-lacking back on this bike. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the sprocket on, get that all tightened down, get the brakes onto the bike, get that part all dialed in. Get it back on the bike so we can maneuver it, and then tomorrow we'll cut the chain. I'll bring the chain cutter home, we'll cut the chain, put the master link in, and take this thing for a spin. So let's get that done. Alright, so put the sprocket on. Okay, fits on like so. I'm just sticking the studs through the wheel right now. A little difficult to fit through with your big fingers, but it'll go. And then once you get two, you put your keeper across the top of them and then start a couple of nuts into it. And the mosquitoes are awful tonight. Okay, so flip it around so you can see what I did. I started a couple on there with the keepers. Now, like I said, I'm changing everything over to the same so I can keep my bikes pretty much the same. Sprockets and keep stuff interchangeable. And what that does is if something breaks and I need to get home, I can grab it off one of my other bikes. And honestly, a 37 tooth sprocket is really just a waste of, it's a waste. I did that experiment on my other bike, on my KE, with that particular size sprocket, and the bike was a lot faster, but it's harder on the clutch, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the performance of it. So when I had this one, I said, that's a win-win, you know? That's definitely a win-win. So zap these in. And that, my friends, is all there is to changing the sprocket on the back. And then I'm going to bend those tabs back up. So I got an old junk Phillips screwdriver that I use for this. Just like so. You can do these different ways if you'd like. You really only have to do one side. As long as it's flat on one side, you're good to go. Okay. Don't want to lose the spacer for the seal. Put it back in there. Okay, so we got those all locked in, and the wheel is ready to go back on. Whew, what a day. All right, so we have a spacer that goes into the seal on the side, and that goes on the left of the bike. We're going to rotate it because we have this. This is the big spacer, and this goes between the right side of the bike and the brake drum. So basically, just about maneuverability. Roll it in as best you can. Pick up, slide your brakes into it. Okay. Brakes are in, you're good to go. Take your spacer. You guys see where the axle is right here? Okay. We'll put this through, and we're going to set this in just a little bit. So not so it goes all the way through, but when we pick up the wheel, we'll be able to push it through. Okay. Just like that. Then what I do is I put the brake stay on. You don't want to tighten up your brake stay, and I'll tell you why. Because it's going to pivot there, because this thing is so far out, we're actually going to move it in. Okay. We're going to move the tire as far forward as possible before we put that chain on. So where it was before, it's not going to be anymore. Okay, and for that I might have to back off the like this. We're going to back off the brakes as well. You want to make it loose as possible. I'm going to back mine out all the way to the end and do the adjustment fresh. So I have maximum maneuverability. Here's a $10 word for you. Maximum damage. And this, with it off there, is going to allow me to push this wheel forward. And with the brake stay like that, I can push that forward once I get the other side set in, so it will be out of adjustment. You know what I mean? So I can push this whole thing forward, and see how far forward it is? Just like that. It's now the brake stay is going to push it back a little bit, so won't the springs, but that's okay. We'll just put that through like that, and it will zap the nut on with it all the way in. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this side's already all the way in. The other side is not, because the thing is at an angle. I'm alright with that. We'll put this in like so, all the way in like that. Put that like that. Okay. Then I'll get my socket for my axle nut, and then I'm going to push this in, and I'm just going to tighten it down. It's not going to stay like that, but until we cut the chain down, it's going to. Okay. Okay, that's all in. Alright. So now the tire is full forward all the way in, and then we can go ahead and figure out how we're going to do a chain. So the bike is still in gear, so we're going to put it in neutral so we can spin it. Like so. I'm going to bring the chain cutter home tomorrow from work. And then you can see how much of a chain we have to cut down. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Yeah, I would say a lot of chain. Almost a good 6 inches. So we've got some cutting to do. Anyway, let me get the we'll get back onto what we were doing. I'm not going to put a cotter pin in it tonight until we get the chain cut down. And then realistically, it's just a flat washer here. Then there are 2 nuts that fit onto it on both sides. The other side, someone didn't have a flat washer, they had a lock nut. So we're gonna have to change that. Actually, I think I have one. Yep, I do have one. Okay. They actually had both. So on one side of the bike had both. One side we just missed a one. Okay. Alright. Cool beans. Now, this sprocket assembly with the bigger one in the front is going to give this bike some more torque. It's going to make it pull a little bit better, you know. So to compensate, I'll pull you off here. So this had a small gear in the back and a small gear in the front. We put a little bigger gear in the back and a little bigger gear in the front. So the ratio is pretty close to the same. Okay, they're just bigger and smaller. You know what I mean? So we went, we stepped up the back gear and we stepped up the front gear. We stepped up the back gear and the front gear, and we did it in basically the same amount of teeth. It's just requiring a bigger chain. So this is the combination is the same as the KE100, and it's going to work on this bike absolutely perfect. Can't wait to ride this bike. I miss riding this bike. So I had some noises that the bike was making. I think the rotary valve is making a noise. Once we fix this ching ching ching, we can hear the other ching ching ching, and that ching 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 is the noise that I'm hearing. And we got a couple of other things. We got the light fixture right here. We're not going to use the light fixture, but we are going to use the rod, the pedestal for that. And right here, we have to take apart the switch, but I got a nice red button switch right here, and this is going to take the place of this old sun-beaten, burnt out one. I mean, it's not burnt out, works, but you know what I mean. We're gonna make it look a little pretty. So I figured I would get a crack at lacking on the what do you call it there, the chain in the back, because that thing was just wiped out. I was going down the road and you could just hear the thing ching 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 ching. Oh, it was awful. It was hitting everything. So I said, okay, time to do it. And I had one in stock, and I said, you know what, I'm going to use it on this one instead of the KE. I think it'll be a better fit. It's a heavy duty chain, heavy duty sprockets. And let me give you guys the part numbers that I have. So this is a motocross racing chain. Okay, why motocross racing? Well, because it's been track tested and it's a proven good quality chain. So it's RK Racing Chains. There's the part number, GB428MXZ. And on the back, right there, you see the second one down. That's the chain we got. And see on the right, it says DI. Oh, I'm sorry for shaking. Hold on, let's do this a little differently here. Okay. So right here, the 420 chain is what most bikes run, 60 to 100 cc's. That's an alright chain. That's the low grade. They got the upgraded chain, the 428 MXZ, and that is an 80 to 125 cc's. So that chain is going to be way more durable than the factory chain that was on it. The front sprocket that's on here is a 14 tooth, and you can see right here it fits Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha front sprocket. This is a 14 tooth, well 15 tooth I mean, sorry. And you can see right here it fits the KD80, the RM80, the YZ80, the KE175D, and the KE100, and the RM8585L. So it fits a lot of different bikes, okay? And it's a heavy duty, it's made by Sunstar. And the back one, I don't know, I think it's just a factory replacement. I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on that one because I got two good quality ones in the front. I'm hoping the back one's a good quality one. I really don't know. I did not order this set. But looking at the old gears, sprockets, they are just wiped out. Now, if this goes too far, too long, what'll happen is the chain will jump off. It'll all fill up inside the case there, and it will destroy this case cover. It'll destroy the case, the engine, and all kinds of problems with it. Okay, the sprocket in the back, it can come derailed, and you can see this one right here in the back is just hammered. It's got like no life left to it. None. It's awful. And I wanted to show you guys something with the chain. Okay, so you take your chain links and you can actually push these in and pull them out. I don't know if you can see it going in. There's a lot of play in these links. Okay, so that means this chain right here is just worn out. The rollers are worn out. Everything's just worn out. It's just exceeded its life expectancy, and I'm gonna go on a limb. I think those are factory for the bike, to be honest with you, except for that bolt. The bike doesn't have many miles on it. That's a factory engine, and it only has 1,640 miles. So that's not many miles, but that is a small sprocket and chain, so it was definitely spinning pretty fast to move this bike. Having a KE100 gear setup on this bike is actually going to change the ratio of the bike, and it's going to make it perform a lot better. So it's going to basically be a smaller KE100 with this gear setup. So be pretty cool. So we're just going to keep plugging away at it. I'm going to cut the chain down tomorrow. We'll do another video, and then we'll get the this will be a part 3 to this. We'll get the pedestal that's cracked. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, this one's cracked pretty good. Actually, I need a front one too. I got those though. Now, if you guys come across these things and you guys need a light fixture like these, okay, look at the KLR 650. The KLR 650 has the same light fixtures and pedestals in the front, not the back, the front. Okay, so you're going, okay, the KLR is 12 volts. Yep, it is. All you gotta do is change your light bulb and you'll be all set. That's simple. So put your 6-volt bulb into that socket, boom, bolt it to your bike, you're all set. Just like that. Yep. So we got to get that. We're going to end up taking the cover back off anyway because we got to paint it. I got to strip it down. We're going to paint it, paint that cover, and paint we're going to paint up some of the stuff. We're going to polish up those forks and get these get this bike back to pristine condition, because I really love driving this bike. And I got the bike 2 years ago and haven't really done anything but ride it. Honestly. And I took it to work a few times, and the points went on it. I remember when the points went, I said, oh, there we go. We have a CDI conversion candidate. So that's what we did on this bike. And you guys love the videos, and I appreciate you guys' support. So like I said, we have a lot of stuff coming up, but I wanted to get this bike done. This is my baby, or one of them. So anyway, guys, I'm off. You guys have yourself a great night, and I will be talking to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Guys, I forgot to say, 1,900 and I think it was 22 subscribers, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, guys. And it's because of you guys that I keep doing these. Now, we're in the process of moving into our new house. So the videos are a little harder to do at the present moment with everything going on, and we're having yard sales and stuff like that, so we have a lot of stuff going on. But we have a lot of stuff we still have to do. Harvey Spooner's KD80. We got my daughter's bike. we have a lot of stuff to do. So, anyway, guys, I'm off for right now. I'm going to go take a shower because I'm all grubby. And I will be talking to you guys later. Thank you again for watching. Thanks for subscribing.